Welcome back. So in this React.js demo, we'll talk about class component and how we can use the state management to reflect the changes made in that page while displaying it in the browser. So my name is Riju, and this is the continuation of my previous React demo on class component. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to rewrite that class component and build something which is basically around that same thing. So let's just go into my Visual Studio Code. So let me go to the Visual Studio Code. I have my app.js, which takes a component called hello.js. So you can actually remove this JS also. That's also fine, which takes a parameter called fname. And then I need to define this component here. I can use this extension for snippets. So RCC is the class component, which initializes that. And then I need a constructor because I'm reading the props, right? So I say rconst, and then I say my fname. So just to differentiate between the prop name, I just put my fname and I say props dot fname. So prop has fname and I use my fname. And in this place, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say h2, tag h2, and then I display whatever the name is getting typed over there. So let me first pick up the default one, which is coming from the prop, and that is my fname, and that will be displayed. So I'll say maybe welcome name. And then inside the div, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to say input type equals text type. So it'll allow me to enter a record and then I finish it off, right? So if I just say, do it like this, and then I end this thing, and inside of which I add this values. So value is nothing but this dot state dot myfname. And then for every change on change event, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just reflect that and then update my state, which is in this context. So to do that in the on change event, I can create a arrow function. So I can define a function and then call it over here. But I can create an arrow function, which will basically allow me to say this dot set state, and this dot set state will take this object thing, and I say my f name, that's a property, and I change it with the current control value. So I say e dot target dot value, and it will be set to current value, whichever I'm typing. So what you get to see in this now, in the page where I'm running this application. So if I take you to the page, let me see what I have, and then I go to this localhost 3000. So localhost 3000, and I get to see that the page is getting populated by the default prop coming from app.js. So if I run them and I see that app.js is having Riju, so I change it to Riju1, it's gonna go ahead and reflect it over here, and it will see that it will load with a new value. Okay, so it's kind of coming from the prop, and then it is working here. Now, if I, let's say, change something over here, and it's gonna go ahead and display in the form. So you see that I can keep typing and it is getting rich. Now, what happens when you do not have this on change event, for example, applied over here? So if you remove this out, and you can have this loaded with the default value, but you cannot make changes. So if you start typing things, nothing will work because you are not changing the state, and it's not going to go work here in the React context. So you need on change event, which basically will reset this my fname property with whatever value you are passing or typing in the control. And that's when you see the changes also getting reflected in other static control like h2, where I can pass on this dynamic value, and then as my React page is changing, it is basically reflecting those changes into my static controls. So this is one of the ways to handle the input control in React, which basically need this kind of extra task to work on to be able to, let's say, reflect those changes into the input types.